Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 The Last Revelation. This is 115 speaking. I really did not want to speak over the beautiful music playing in the background, so pardon my silence, and also pardon my pistol's gunfire when dealing with the crocodiles. So let me welcome you to the Sacred Lake. Now this is a central level because unlocking the secrets of Sacred Lake is what will allow us to enter the Tomb of Semerket. Now this should be your first visit so far, so it is entirely okay if the only key item you have is the Amulet of Horus, and by now you will have answered the first canopic jar in the Temple of Karnak into its proper place. We passed through the Great Hypostal Hall and now we find ourselves here. So this is actually the level where we will find the second canopic jar in the sort of what's very typical for ancient Egyptian temples, the Sacred Lake in its inner courtyard. First order of business. If you notice the crawl space over here, this is not in fact a secret. This is an area you can, if you want to, leave pretty much alone for now. However, I made the promise to show you how many goodies and kills you can get as early as possible in each level. So, we might do a bit of backtracking, but it's something that potentially you might want to avoid doing if you don't care about that sort of thing, getting everything as soon as possible. But this is just how I'm going to do things. So we're going to pass 2 crawl spaces to reach a courtyard, get some kills early on, pickups, and I will explain to you what is it we are really trying to achieve. Okay. And there we are. First things first, really, we don't want to get poisoned just yet. Well, then again, there's the cool poison effect I've been talking about, but I haven't really shown you it, so maybe I should reconsider. There should be a... oh, there he is. Second scorpion somewhere. Oh, okay. I was worried there for a while. Yeah, and in the pool you can actually find another couple of goodies. Kind of tricky to get in here. Lara tends to get stuck all around. But there we go, a small health pack, and on the other side of this small pool area is a box of shotgun shells, yet again. Again, you can pretty much use shotgun indiscriminately. It basically even seems to be the main weapon, not the pistols, for Tomb Raider 4. The number of shotgun shells is absolutely ridiculous. So this might not really look like it, but this is in fact an interactable lock mechanism, if you would have it like that. So, you know, if we try to use the Amulet of Horus, Lara will say no. But once we have the correct items, we will be placing them here. We are looking for a figurine of the Sun Goddess who we've seen depicted on one of the urns, and also a sun disk that's represented here, and on the 3 doors that will open once we insert it. And the effect that's going to create is absolutely wonderful. So, we are going to find ourselves here a bit later on, once we have everything that we need. And provided you find yourself here without these goodies, you are going to have to basically cycle through these levels until you have them, as I explained before. Okay, now the moment you crawl out of the pit, you will encounter a scorpion over here. If you do everything as efficiently as possible, you might not have an incentive to crawl out of the pit, so this kill is actually very easy to miss if you get into this area later on. And funnily enough, we will also have to backtrack here because there is a crocodile that spawns at the entrance to the Sacred Lake where we came from. And I have tested this out a couple of times. He only spawns during your second visit to the Sacred Lake, once you have all the key items that you need from the Temple of Karnak and Great Hypostal Hall. So again, we will be doing a bit of backtracking in the second level, and this is for the sake of completion, but I assume most of you will not really want to do that just in order to get a kill, but for those of you who do, be warned that's the case. Now, there is yet another crocodile somewhere in this lake, and these guys have a tendency to get stuck, so I'm gonna do something fun. Knowing that he's here somewhere, I'm just gonna go and swim around. Mind you, this is a game where there's no harpoon gun. We are completely defenseless, which is kind of exciting. So, yeah, these crocodiles, cool enemy, great enemy to shotgun down, but unfortunately they do get stuck quite easily. Now, behind these iron bars, I don't know how the water does not seep in through them, but there is a room in which we'll need to pull a lever. Once we pull that, we will pretty much open up an entrance into the inner sanctum over here, right? And mind the hole over here, this is just a way back from somewhere else, so we are gonna re-emerge from that. And there's our croc, our trusty friend. He is stuck, just as I have thought. Now, by pulling that lever, we will unlock the inner sanctum, and this will lead us to the second canopic jar and an entrance into the Temple of Karnak, so we can insert it there. So it's really connected rather well. Oh, now you got unstuck. Okay, so we're gonna shotgun you. Can you actually climb? Oh, I don't know if he... Yeah, I wasn't really sure if he's gonna bite us through the stone block or not. Didn't want to risk it at any rate. Then again, we really have health to spare. Also, by the way, you might notice, and I'm always looking for an excuse to use my binoculars. Let me just show you the ramp over here. It serves no purpose whatsoever, but once we'll be swimming out of that hole, I might just head there to get rid of the crocodiles that will be released from the inner sanctum. We'll see. Gonna have to improvise a little. Now, if you circle around the area of the sacred lake, you will find an entrance over here with 2 bats. It's a bit tricky to shoot them down sometimes. Okay, that's 1 down and 2nd down. Oh, they're kind of cute actually. And mind the holes over here. If you drop into them, I don't think you will actually die, but you will start sliding into a pool from which you will find yourself back in the sacred lake. And you will have to come back here all over again. You don't want to slide down there just yet. Not without having some agency in it. Now, what we really are after, and we can again see the iron bars over there leading to the sacred lake. We were on the other side just before. We need to grab the pole over here. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the very first time we've encountered one of these climbable poles. So, kind of intuitively, as you are holding the action key, you can climb up or you can slide down. Now, unlike holding a rope, if you actually press the right arrow key, Lara will tilt right. If you press left, Lara will tilt left. It isn't inversed like on the rope for whatever reason, right? However, unlike with ropes, Lara will not jump forward if you press the jump key. She will backflip. And you can also do mid-air roll if you want, right? So this is something tricky. If you don't know this in advance, you can potentially kill yourself, right? If you drop onto that slippery slope over there, Lara will break her neck. So you need to know in advance that Lara does backflips from these things, which is kind of evil when I think about it. Also, when you're on the ground, you can either jump and press action key, or you can just hold action key and Lara will grab it automatically, however you prefer. And again, only backflips allowed, so we're gonna have to tilt you around, Lara, and do that. By the way, notice that I am doing those mid-air rolls. Lara doesn't do that automatically. It's just an extra bit of convenience for me. And no, we have not found a secret, even though again, it really might look like it. This is the way to continue into the lever room. So let us just trigger the mechanism. There we go. And there's something about this area which reminds me of the wreck of Maria Doria. I don't know what it is. Notice how Lara's head is hitting the ceiling. But I guess it's the idea that water's on the other side. It reminds me of the small portholes in the wreck of Maria Doria, where you could see barracudas and sharks swimming on the other side, you know, that sort of thing. I remember all those years back when I was making a Let's Play for that, and I was anxious because I did not know if there's enough harpoon ammunition in the game to allow us to get all the kills. That was such a really unique experience and challenge, really. And there we go, inner sanctum opened. Mind the crocodiles that will come pouring out. Oh boy. Okay. Now, you might have noticed that my voice is a bit off. It's because I'm not feeling particularly well, and I might seem like I'm slow or distracted or something like that. But you know, I just didn't want to wait until I'll feel better to do these videos, because the show must go on. There's tomb raiding to be done. And also just the pure fact that you've had to wait quite a long time until me uploading these 6 videos is, you know, why I wanted to just get a move on with it. Okay, now let's do something absolutely dangerous, pointless, but so cool if it does work out. There is actually a hole. Let me see if we can throw a flare in there. You can use the slopes, you know, to get down safely. Ah, see where the flare dropped? That's where we want to go. Swan dive, Lara, and roll! Roll as you're swan diving. Yes! Ah! This is so great when it works out. So not great when it doesn't work out. Oh, you can pick up flares in water. I had no idea. This is an epiphany. This is a revelation. The last revelation. You can pick up flares underwater. That's amazing. I really had no idea. I kind of want to go back to Tomb Raider 2 and 3 and try if that also works. Oh man, please let me know in the comments if you have some experience with this. This would really interest me. Now, where we found ourselves in is the bottom of the pool, where the slippery slopes led. And, you know, at the very top, when we encountered the two beds in the small temple we entered, those two holes on left and right, this is where they lead. So if you were to fall down through them, you would find yourself sliding into the pool over here, which has at least a flare box and a small health pack. Now, we already know there'll be crocodiles here, so... okay, there's the ramp, so I'm gonna make a use of it. I'm not sure how close they are, we might have to switch to shotgun. Okay, no, let's just keep jumping back. Yeah, man, and the other guy, well, we're just gonna cheese it, right? I'm afraid so. Oh, Lara? Oh man, how did he get stuck again? Okay. Well, let's do something else. You can hear footsteps even though they're swimming through the water, which I always found very strange. Not a particularly good sound effect effort. Oh, wait a second. Where is he? Is he? Now this is really strange. Oh my goodness gracious, there you are. You really get stuck easily. No, don't bite us. Please. Okay, now this is a bit more problematic than I imagined. Oh. Only one shot from the pistols. That was all that was needed. Okay, that's pretty funny. But you know, it serves to illustrate a point. So if for whatever reason you are missing one of these crocodiles, it's very likely these guys got stuck pretty much anywhere in this Sacred Lake circuit, right? Okay, let's make it into the inner sanctum, and before we start messing with any forbidden mechanisms, let's just get a couple of goodies on the side. So over on these ledges you will find a small health pack and again 2 boxes of shotgun shells. I think the amount of shotgun ammunition in this game would make sense if we would receive maybe 1 shell per pickup. I'm really curious, you know, once I'll be doing the final stats video, just to see how many ammunition pickups there were and how many enemies, and sort of compare that with the previous 3 Tomb Raider entries to see what the balancing is like. It's gonna be pretty interesting, I bet. Okay, now let me explain what we are trying to do here. We need to open this hole because this is where we'll get the second canopic jar. Once we obtain it, the grate over here will open up, and this will lead us into the Temple of Karnak again, so we will close the first loop of the 3 levels. So this is where I'm later on gonna save and look at the stats before we do anything else. And mind the lever over here, this is actually something that can be pulled underwater. Very elegant move Lara makes in the water, I really like it. And I'm not taking a rebreather because we still need to open the panel here. And also let me illustrate something. If you know, face it even correctly and you start holding the action key, like I'm doing right now, nothing happens. You need to go to the middle, now start holding the action key and let Lara tilt to the right, otherwise she will not interact with it. So this is something just to keep in mind, and sorry if this is obvious knowledge for you, but it can save you some drowning accidents if you know this in advance. Okay, we got a few seconds of fresh air, let's dive right in. Probably might be a good idea to light up a flare here if you're playing on darker screens or a console version. Easy to get stuck here, very unpleasant. Lara, thank you. It's not that I'm not trying to tilt her, it's just she loses the ability to be tilted when she's around these sort of crevices. Very annoying. Okay, and forward is where we continue, but if we go to the right, which is a bit riskier, we will be awarded with a large health pack and probably even more importantly a pocket of air. So let's do that. Because I would like those extra few seconds just to show you something really cool, but let's also light up a flare. Okay, so back we go. Oh, thank you for cooperating, Lara. And now up is where we need to go. There we go, underwater mirror room. This is absolutely amazing. Now, there's no apparent way out or anything to pick up or interact with here, but if you look closely into the mirror, probably let's get rid of the flare. Thank you, Lara. You will see a hole in the ceiling up there. My goodness, that flare wasn't a good idea. There it goes. This is better. But if you look, in reality there's nothing. But if you look into the mirror, there it is. This is great, this is so cool. It reminds me of the fish tank in Lara's home in Tomb Raider 3, but with a little bit of optical illusion element. Now if you look really closely into the ceiling, you can just about make out edges of the square which we need to access, but something's not entirely right with it. There we go. It feels like we are swimming in mud or something, but it's actually a solid texture. This is such a beautiful feeling. I don't know. There's something so decadent about this. Like, this shouldn't be happening, but it is. It's really, really cool. And if we head through the tunnel over here... oh, no. Let's not pick up the goodie on the altar just yet, because there are 2 pairs of Uzi clips. And Uzis are something I'm probably going to try and make a great use out of, I think, during our second visit into the Great Apostle Hall. But later about that, this is the second canopic jar. Okay. And yeah, I did not make up that name. It's literally called Canopic Jar 2, right? And this is what has the face of... Well, I wasn't sure if it's a cat or a jackal. I would assume it's more of a jackal. That we are going to insert into the Great Temple of Karnak, and the cool cutscene you have just seen showed us the entrance back into the temple. Kind of like a rear entrance, underwater one, I guess. Okay, so let's say goodbye to the... Lara, say goodbye to the mirror. Bye-bye. And let us just return. And as I said, we're going to take one final rebreather. I mean, you can pretty much directly make it from here into the Temple of Karnak with 1 oxygen bar. It's not a challenging issue, but I would, want to make a save and show you the stat screen before we do that. Yeah, that's what just opened. That's where we need to go. So, let me just pause here very briefly and look at the stat screen. That's the Sacred Lake. Now, we have found during our first visits 13 out of 28 items. We have also killed 13 out of 20 enemies. And we have found, well, currently 0 out of 1 secret. So, actually, our second visit into the Sacred Lake is going to reveal additional secret, which is going to bring the total of secrets to 30, right? But that is for another day. Now, with that, let me also make a save here. And I will see you guys next time back in a very familiar level, the Temple of Karnak.